Hey, welcome back to another edition of Limited Skills. I'm James.
I'm Brandon.
And today we're discussing haircuts. Brandon is going to get his on Wednesday. He just told me that the girl normally charges him $15, but he always gives her $20.
Yeah, well, she's a nice lady, and she takes good care of my hair.
What's the name of that place again, Brandon?
His and Hers, and the stylist name is Twyla.
There you go, Twyla. Anyway, these people probably want to hear us talk about magic. Well, they don't want to hear us. I don't know why they're watching. Haircuts and magic. Anyway, Modern Masters again? No, that's wrong.
Iconic Masters.
It's better. How'd you do this time?
Debatable. I did much better than the previous week. I got to do cool things. My deck was functioning as opposed to the previous week. And I overcame some hardships.
Now I'm once again passing to you from your right, so that's exciting. Also, Rampaging Balos is probably the best card in the pack.
Yes. I probably should have taken it.
You look at a few things. So explain what you're thinking. And I mean, obviously, you have to read some cards.
Yeah, there's just some cards I'm not familiar with. My big thought was I just wanted to kill more because it's such a bomb-heavy format. I liked having answers to those big bomb things so that my opponent won't just cast something and then just win the game because I can't deal with it. I feel like that's the most common way to win, is to cast your big thing. So rather than taking a big thing that could kill my opponent, I took something that could kill that big thing.
So along that same thought line, I thought Greater Basilisk would be pretty greater than something else you could have taken.
So I did end up... I don't remember what I took. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, James passed me the foil Mana Leak. So we both opened foil Mana Leak. So what did I take here? I think I'm leaning towards the... Okay, because I took a black thing, the Ulcerate seems alright. Just, like, it's not great removal, but it is 1 mana removal that'll deal with a lot of things. If I'd taken the green pick, maybe the Greater Basilisk... Okay, I did go with the Ulcerate. I think the Mannequin is also pretty good, just because it's a dinky little body that is mana ramp. There are so many mana ramp rocks in this set, in colorless, that I feel like your average deck is going to be ramping up to 5 and 6 drops really quick.
Sure. Which is funny, because in my decks, I don't think I cast a spell that costs more than 4.
I think I built my deck with that sort of mana ramp late game in mind, and then all of my best showings were when I just curve out on the 4 and then feel like I had it won by then.
So in this pack, I think Ivy Elemental is real good as a just generic value card. I think Child of Night's sweet.
So far, I'm just in black, right?
Crown Ceratok's pretty good. Yeah, you're just in black.
I think... Okay. If I were looking at other colors at that point, which I probably should because it's real early, why not? The Crown Ceratok or the Sultai Flare that gains you life when creatures die, those are both really good. And they're both... It's a 3-4 or a 4-3 for 3. It's basically whether you want to be defensive or offensive.
A lot of choices on lands here.
Yeah, it's kind of wacky to have that much fixing. So now I'm forced to look at another color.
I think Battle Rattle Shaman's really strong, especially since you've got a bunch of like dinky... Well, you've got one dinky dude.
So Mannequin's a good pick that'll go into any deck, even if I randomly ended up mono black still. It doesn't sort of push me into another.
I had to read Elusive Spell Thief. I like Festering Newt. Just as a generic 1/1, I think it's a fine creature, and sometimes it does cool things.
So I like that Bondkin.
Yeah.
The Star Compass also mana rock that gets you up there. I think Frostlinks is maybe the best pick on its own without any worry about the rest of your deck construction at all. I think I'm a little excited about the potential of getting into Black-Red Dragons because I missed that opportunity the previous week.
Yeah.
That I believe I take that Monument.
What do you think about Benevolent Ancestor as a card? Not necessarily for your deck, but just... It's a defender, and it taps to prevent a damage that would be dealt.
I wouldn't usually be too excited about it. It's actually... I wish it were 2 mana. I think it should be 2 mana. But it's much more playable because there's such a strong defender theme. There's the Vent Sentinel that'll ping your opponent for defenders you control, and the Doorkeeper, the blue guy that mills for defenders you control. So there are reasons to play defender creatures other than whatever generic blocking they might do.
Okay. I like the Kolaghan's Monument just because if you happen to get to 6 mana, now you have a dragon.
It's also mana ramp, even if I end up not playing red.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And now I'm finally forced into taking the best card of another color in this pack, which that Ceratok is awesome.
4/4 with trample and occasional upside.
4/3 with trample,
4/3.
And then if you've got other things with counters, which I don't think I do at this point.
I like Darksteel
trample.
Axe in a real aggressive deck. Or on those vampire. They're not Nighthawks. That'd be too good. Childs of Night.
Child of Night. Also things with trample. Also very good with. So already I've got 2 good picks for putting that on, so that's why I go with this early. I think I ended up not playing it at all, which is weird because for like a creature heavy deck as I ended up with, it's like a generically, sure, why not always play one of those, but I just didn't have the room.
So you have Praise Vengeance, just like sort of giant growth to rebound, which is good, or the Dead Reveler.
Yeah, so I don't feel like I'm committed into green yet, but I like the prospect of playing that on my Lifelinker or my Trampler, both to save it and get a stronger effect out of it, and then it's good to follow up on that the next turn with as well.
I wish Eternal Thirst gave it +1/+1 and didn't mess with counters. I understand that the fact that it does put counters on a creature works with the counters matter thing that's going on in this set, but I wish it gave the creature +1/+1. And then I would be excited to play it. I heard a lot of people talk about Dragon's Egg and how there's only so many sack outlets in this set, and it's kind of bad without one. Because your opponents are less likely to let you kill it and turn it into a dragon.
I mean, to be fair, unless their deck has just a bunch of evasion, then
they're eventually going to have to run into it.
Usually be attacking in.
Yeah. I like Wild Size. I like that it replaces itself. Cantrips?
Yeah, I've never played it before. I think it seems really good, and I ended up drafting too many of them and playing 0 of them.
Oh.
I love Lead the Stampede. It's the card that let me win a mulligan to 4 on the play once against an opponent that kept 7 when their hand was perfectly fine, and I just ripped 4 creatures off of it. So I always see that card and think, this is a card that can actually just reverse a game. And even if it doesn't reverse a game, you're usually drawing 2 cards off of it, which is fine.
So how are you feeling after pack 1?
Not great, but not bad either. I've got some removal. I've got some good mid-range creatures. Not really a strong theme yet.
At this point,
I do think... So I feel really confident that black is dried up. I think you might be in black because you're passing to me, but there's no way the people in the next 2 seats to my left are in black.
No, because between you and me, we've taken everything good.
It was like halfway through that pack, we were getting like half of the packs had no black left in them. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm taking this last black card, I know I'm cutting them out of it.
Also, it's usually a good assumption that James is in black.
Well, I didn't even realize that before now. But, all right.
Primeval Titan is fine, I guess.
Yeah, even if it's 6/6 Trampler or whatever, that's probably still the best pick in that pack.
Were there other cards in that pack? I didn't know, because there was a... Whatever.
I don't know how good that sacrifice spell is. So I generically like those effects, but it may be worse in this set.
Which sacrifice effect? I'm sorry.
It's the 3 mana, they sack a creature at instant speed, and if you reveal a dragon, you gain 4 life. If I were doing the dragon thing, I would be more excited, because 4 life is that's an extra attack, usually.
Bladewing's Thrall gave me problems.
Yeah.
Turns out somebody was in the dragon deck. Well, they had that card and some dragons. And
if I were playing red at all, Kiln Fiend, I think, is the top pick here, easily.
Oh, sure. Kill Fiend's a beast. It's like prowess before prowess?
It's +3 plus on an instant or sorcery.
That's probably not very good.
So I go with the Sword of Removal, because I figure, well, that's the reason I want to play black, is for the removal.
For the removal. I like Virulent Swipe. I like Fury Charm, although I never get to play it. Oh, you're passing to me. I can sort of tell you what I'm looking at taking. Oh, I take the wing shards.
That seems good. Okay, so I think about Curse of Predation for a little bit because I know it was previously in a commander set, and it has never been in a limited format before. So I think this seems pretty good. I don't know how it's actually going to go, but whatever. I like trying goofy rares I've never tried before.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best card in my deck, easily. And that was whether I curved into it or if I played it on turn 7. As soon as I laid it out on the table, my opponents felt defeated. I only lost one game that I ever played it in, whether it came early or late.
How did you lose the one game you lost when you played it? Did you
I don't remember the specifics. I think I was
with?
just behind.
Okay.
I think my first creature came at like 4 mana, and he already came out aggressive.
Sure.
But it's real good with your stuff with Trample, your stuff with Lifelink, which I've already got a few of those. I don't think I've picked them up yet, but they were incredibly good with those Phantom Tigers. Because then you could just attack in. They're bigger. They either have to trade, and by trade I mean lose their creature to remove a counter, or just take this creature that keeps getting bigger every turn.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. You're right. I didn't think about that interaction.
If I played a Phantom Tiger on 3 and that Curse of Predation on 4, my opponents just lost.
Oof.
And there was more value to it than that, but that was like the most simple rare comboing with a common.
Oh, and it puts counters on it too, so if you happen to get your Crowned Ceratok...
Yeah.
Gross.
And I ended up with 2 Ceratoks as well.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
My team consists... Sometimes I'd have the Ceratok and like 3 other creatures out, and then I'd cast Curse of Predation and then attack with everything, and the whole team would have Trample and be one bigger than they were counting on.
Yeah. Oh, that's slick.
So the point is, if you are playing green, absolutely pick Curse of Predation. I know it's like a 25-cent rare, but it is actually one of the bombiest cards in the format, probably.
Right? That would have been sweet in my deck. I was black-white, +1/+1 counters matter. An army of First Strike, Death Touch, Vigilant dudes is tough to beat. Somebody did beat it, but it was tough. Jerkwood Baloth seems fine.
Yeah, I
Hunting
get kind
Pack
of
seems
excited
like an
about
interesting
Hunting Pack. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with that. I think the Baloth's the better pick, just because it can give me something to do early, and I can also drop it a turn sooner.
Yeah, I think Hunting Pack's really interesting though, and I would want to play it just to mess with it, because there's a chance that like you could get 2 4/4s out of it, or maybe more.
Yeah, the fact that it's instant speed can, destroy their attacking board also.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for you to storm off on your own stuff at 7 mana.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you're holding other cards and other mana open. Probably not, but playing it after they play something is valuable.
Oh yeah, totally. Totes my goats.
I think those basilisks seem fine. I ended up with a couple of them, and I had them in my original build of the deck, and just ended up cutting them. They just weren't scary enough.
They're a little defensive.
Which I thought my deck was at first, as I mentioned, because I've got Prime Time, and then I end up with some of those 7/7 Trample Worms.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, mostly I was just putting people on the ropes by turn 5,
Sure.
and playing a 3/5 on turn 5, like, not that exciting.
Yeah. There are a lot of good, efficient, aggressive creatures in this set, and I don't think that takes away from the sort of bomb-heavy nature, and there are defenders, so there are things with big butts that can stop you, but you can make a really angry little deck. I think I curved out at 4, and I had 1 4-drop, and then the 1 4-cost removal spell, and then a whole bunch of like little dorks with flying and 2/3s and whatever.
So here I'm torn between which of these 2 draw card green creatures I want, and I believe I went with the 2/5 defender. And my thought process behind that was because I've got the 6/6 trampled, 7/7 tramplers, the late game stuff that I want to build up to. And I figure I want blockers, I want to be defensive, and just play for that late game. But then, as I mentioned, my deck did not end up that way. So I think this was the wrong pick. I think having another Nantucket Shaman would have been pretty good. And I think several of my picks, like those 3/5 Death Touchers, would have been better valued in something maybe just cheaper or more aggressive.
I don't understand how the Nantuko Shaman works. Because you only draw cards if your mana is tapped during your upkeep?
If your mana is untapped.
It's untapped.
When it comes into play. So if you suspend it, and you don't do anything at your upkeep, it comes in, you draw a card.
Okay. Then I just read it wrong.
I also read it wrong. I played it in, I think, one of the earlier Modern Masters before, but I thought it rampant growthed after coming into play. And it wasn't until, like, the trigger was resolving that I was like, oh, that's actually better than I wanted.
Yeah.
That I got to draw a card. I think perhaps if I'd remembered that when I made that pick, I would have taken the Nantucket Shaman. If I remembered it was draw a card instead of rampant growth.
I'm excited that the hunting pack came around.
Yeah, so I took that. I was also excited about it. I ended up not playing it. My intent was to put it in the deck, but I ended up being really top heavy.
Drops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Dale Wyrmheart. Duskdale?
That sounds like a word. I don't actually even recall if if I picked it at this point, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is Duskdale. I feel like Dale Wyrmheart is like a hillbilly name. Like you could play like a Dungeons and Dragons barbarian, like 2 levels of barbarian and a couple levels of bard, and he could be Dale Wyrmheart. And his friends just call him Dale.
Duskdale Jr. Okay, so I sort of think Assault Formation would be funny. Because I've got those 3/5 basilisks, and then I also took that 2/5 with Defender.
Oh, yeah.
However, Genesis Hydra is just an amazing card. Also, has counters.
Yeah.
So my Crown Ceratok gives it Trample, which was relevant a lot. I didn't even intentionally draft the counter-themed deck. Just at the end of it, when I was building my deck, I was like, oh, these things all work.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the counter-themed cards are just fine on their own.
Yeah.
And if you happen to have them, they get better.
No, I made the very specific decision going into Pack 2 that I was going to force the counters matter strategy, because I had a bunch of black cards that got counters, and I sort of noticed in Pack 1 that they weren't necessarily going around, but they were available. People weren't taking them. So then I started drafting them very heavily. And it was a lot of fun. I went 2-1 ultimately with my little cat. Man, Jack's deck was stupid.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, there's no way the people 2 to my left are in black. I feel like my signal's been pretty clear. I've mostly taken green stuff at this point, but I feel like the black was open. Turns out James to my right was drafting black-green.
Black-white. Oh, no, there's the James to your left was drafting black-green.
Sorry. Yeah, so... James, to my right, was black-white, so he was actually taking a bunch of the black stuff, and then to my left was Jack James, who was taking... He drafted also black-green, with just more black than green, and I believe he ended up winning our pod.
Yeah. Well, he got the bye in round 1, so it was like a sort of one.
Yeah, we made fun of him for only playing 2/3 of the tournament, so whatever level of winning you want to call that.
Oh, Heroes Bane's good.
Also has counters.
Yeah.
Also, it's a huge thing. Also, I learned from your previous week to not make it too big in case they have Grizzly Spectacle. I would say that Jack James's key, he had 2, maybe more, of the Noxious Dragon.
Oh, that card just wrecked my deck.
It would smother something when it dies. Yes. And I remembered that card being pretty good, in the Dragon set when it came out, but I wasn't sure how valuable it would be in this set.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently also crushed people with the Rampaging Baloths I passed to him, which might have seemed like a signal. Sure, I understand that. But I didn't end up having to play against that. We had really close, intense games, but overall I think his deck was a little more consistent than mine.
I did have to play against the Rampaging Baloths, and I hate you for it.
Excellent.
But yeah, no, that Noxious Dragon, it was challenged to deal with because it was a 4/4 with flying. So once you kill it the first time, then he just gets to pick any one of the 3 mana or less dudes on my board, which was every creature in my deck save 1.
It was his best way to deal with my Phantom Tigers.
And then he had a way to recur it. Oh, also I passed you Mishra's Bauble.
Oh, like 6 people at the table passed me Mishra's Bauble. That was cool.
So I've ended up...
I don't have one of those until now.
I think I've passed you something like $25 in cards this set.
Yeah, but... Who cares, right? Because that's a small percentage of the value you've opened.
Oh yeah, I opened Pack 2 got me Mana Drain.
And then did you open that Flusterstorm in
Pack 3?
I
also opened the Flusterstorm in Pack 3.
So that's why James wasn't playing blue.
I mean, I guess I could have.
What better mana ramp to your big bomb?
What big bomb? I didn't take a thing that cost more than 4.
Should have been playing Noxious Dragons.
I probably should have splashed for them, but man, I just hate blue cards.
Oh, so Corpse Jack Menace. I didn't really get to do... I did get to play it and then attack while I had Curse of Predation on the board, and that was funny. Getting 2 counters per creature. There's a lot of cool stuff in this set that card does. I think way more than previous. So, your Hydras come in with twice as many counters.
Sick.
Hero's Bane.
Yeah.
Instead of, getting 4, we'll get 8 counters on the first activation.
Yeah. And then 16.
Hunt the Weak gives it +2.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I did get value out of Curse of Predation, which was very funny.
That's cool. I didn't think about Corpse Jack Menace. Another dork. Dorkwood Bailoff. He's friends with Dark Dale Worm. Plus Dale Worm. Oh, we're so funny, Brandon.
When he gets up in the mornings for the races, is he Don Dale Worm?
Dale Wyrmheart?
I was trying to get there and I couldn't figure it out. Oh my god.
Do you play Lure ever?
I think it's playable, but I don't usually pick it. I remember in Theros, I would take the Unicorn, because it could just be a creature on its own.
Sure.
And I think that gave it +2/+2 also. So I liked that version of it. Lure can be a game winner. But yeah, it's never like a priority pick for me.
Okay. What do you think of Sustainer of the Realm? That gets +02 when it blocks.
It's okay. I wish it were like naturally 1 bigger or something.
Okay.
It's a 2/3, is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't know, if it were even like a 3/2 that had that ability, then it could just threaten to kill more stuff.
Sure. What do you think of this dude?
I didn't play it. I think it can be fine in the right sets. I don't know if this is the right set. If I really focused on that defensive late game deck, I think it's a good addition for that.
Okay.
I mean, if you play it on turn 1 and you're trying to survive till turn 7, it's a 0/3 that gains you 7 life.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and last pick, I got the Assault Formation anyway, which I ended up not playing. I ended up cutting some of my vanilla defensive stuff. I played the Caryatid that draws you a card. For a while, I ended up cutting it out, I think, for just all the vanilla creatures. So my deck was primarily, I think 18 creatures and a combat trick and 4 removal. It was pretty good, pretty consistent. Like I said, Jack James just ended up getting just the slightly better version of my deck.
All right.
Which is directly my fault. I was sitting to his right. I influenced his deck more than anybody, so it was just my fault. But we probably had the 2 best decks at the table still.
Rude.
Take that, James. Trash talking you to your face on camera.
But he's probably right. Like, your deck probably was better than mine.
It was fast. You didn't have to play against Curse of Predation. People were cursing it.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I can just imagine. But on the other hand, I had First Strike Death Touchers.
That was funny.
Poke. But I would never block, because half my things had the Rakdos keyword. Unleash?
Unleashed, yeah.
Yeah, half my things had Unleash. So, if I wanted to give them First Strike and Death Touch, they had to be Unleashed, which means they would never block.
Yeah,
so,
why would you?
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. All right.
Well, I think we've got one more week of Iconic Masters, and then we've got some fun glued, fun hinged, fun... That's it, right?
Fun stable.
Fun stable, yeah.
We're so clever, guys. If you like how clever we are, you should like this video and subscribe and tell your friends.
Tell your friends, yes.
Yeah, please tell your friends. If you have any...
Tell them we're haircut and racing professionals. We know everything about those.
Dale Wyrmheart, you heard it here first. We're done.
Bye.